Welcome. We're glad you're with us for this month's episode of Insights. This month, as always, LISD Superintendent Dr. Stephen Waddell joins us, and as well as high school students from around the district. And this month, we're going to be discussing the topic of fine arts. First, I would like to introduce Dr. Waddell. As always, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us which school you represent and which fine art program you're representing as well.
My name is Talisen Barron, and I'm a sophomore in Falmouth High School, and I'm representing art.
My name is Aloria Prince. I'm a senior at Marcus High School, and I'm captain of the Marcus Marquette drill team.
My name is Austin Roa, and I'm representing the theater department at Flower Mound High School, and I'm a senior.
My name is Daniela Ruelas. I'm a junior at Louisville High School, and I'm representing choir and band.
Hi, my name is Rahoul Dadawani. I'm a senior band student at Hebron High School.
Hi, my name is Angeli Norng, and I'm a senior at the Colony High School, and I will be representing orchestra.
We have some phenomenal questions this month. Dr. Waddell and I were saying that really, in some of the instances, you could talk about any one of the questions for the entire show. So, Angeli, let's start with your question.
Dr. Waddell, in your opinion, how much of a role and impact do you think the fine arts plays and makes in students' lives?
I think it plays a huge part. I've said many a time that I'm not sure that you're educated until you've been educated in art and music. People travel around the world to see art and the great things that humans have done, and they're drawn to it. It inspires them. The pleasure, if one can have that throughout their lifetimes of knowing about the arts and being comfortable with them and appreciating them, it just enriches your life.
Rahoul has a fabulous question for us. Why don't you share that?
What is the fine arts role in the district's strategic design process?
Well, I see that question as compatible with the first one. I think that one of the beauties of the strategic design is it sees the importance of things like the art in education and calls for it. When you look at the vision of the district now, which says that all of our students enjoy thriving and productive lives in a future they create, and you think of the word of enjoyment and thriving and a future they create, being empowered to decide about your own life, you find in there a place for art. When you look and in our mission statement where it calls for meaningful, engaging experiences for our students. For so many, the opportunity to participate in theater, in music, in visual arts, in dance, any of the artistic expressions is a way that engages our students in their learning. I know I've spoken to many students who are very good. In fact, I would say that some of our best students academically are also our top students artistically. And I think there's an important correlation there. Math and music are very closely aligned. I've had students tell me that the pleasure they get out of being in theater, for instance, I remember one student particularly, I interviewed him. He was in all AP classes, did extraordinarily well in those, science and math. But he was in theater, and he loved that. He loved the chance to perform. He loved the collaboration with his peers and the production. He told me, we stay here till midnight working, and we never get tired of doing it. It's not a chore. It provided tremendous meaning to him. Our strategic design recognizes that. It understands the importance of that enrichment for kids. That I have to say it's not just about taking a multiple choice exam once a year. It's about doing something that goes deep and inspires you and cause you want to reach levels that you might not have otherwise. Students have told me that they through art, through the arts, and I would say other extracurricular activities as well, but we're talking about the arts here. That they're able to set higher standards for themselves than they would otherwise. When you inspire people and you give them a chance to be creative, you don't need someone saying, reach this standard, because they tend to transcend it. And that's really what strategic design is about. It's engaging students It's offering the opportunity to be creative. It recognizes that there is more to education than just a test. It realizes that we are very complex and we may be interested in a career. We may love math or English or history, but we have this side of us too that we want to express. And I think wherever we have a chance to reach out to young people and engage them in learning and understanding and seeing, oh, I see the value of an education, whichever way we can hook them in that is important. But that's what I love about our strategic design and what our community saw when they developed that and then the board approved it, is they understood really what that's all about is understanding the nature of being a human being and a civilized human being. So I think that's the connection there. Engaging people, challenging them, giving them the opportunity to be creative, giving them something meaningful to do.
Rahoul's question was a great springboard for our next question from Daniela Ruelas. Daniela?
You've kind of already gone over this, but what do you feel are the benefits of music education in public schools?
It's important in education that we give young people that opportunity to learn about the arts and also to participate in the arts. To see young people be brilliant is an amazing thing. To realize that it's our public school system that has given them that opportunity fills me with great pride. Pride as an educator and pride in our community that it provides that for our young people. I see, we were talking earlier about the theater productions, and they're professional grade. And you go, these are teenagers doing this. You forget that while you watch it. And the musicians that accompany them. And that we have given young people that chance to reach those levels, to reach those heights is to me one of the greatest things we do. When we do that for them, they're going to go on and get a great academic education as well, go on to college, and they're going to find careers. But they will never forget that. I think some of my most meaningful experiences that I've had as an educator have been when I've observed our young people performing artistically. And that's one thing that I think is so incredible about public schools is public education, that it does do that, does give that to young people. I hope that kind of got at your question. It's a deep thing, and it has to be approached in that way.
Yeah.
As with everything these days, it seems like technology touches here, there, and everywhere, and Austin's question kind of alludes to that. Austin, why don't you share your questions?
With the recent implementation of Bring Your Own Technology, is there a possibility of utilizing technology to pursue film studies in each home campus? And I know at the Dale Jackson Center, there is a film class that you can take, and it takes up 2 periods. But you know, like you were talking about theater earlier, and I'm in theater at Flower Mound High School, and it's, you know, I can say this for any actor, anybody that's in theater, there's nothing like it. It's just being on that stage with the lights on you, and just, you feel so infinite and incredible, and it's so awesome. But you know, at the same time, I love film. You know, like when I was walking in here, and I was staring at the cameras more than just coming over here. Like I wanted to be behind the camera, just because I'm so intrigued by it. And I guess pretty much my question is will there be a possibility in the future that the film studies could be a class at, you know, each home campus?
And you mentioned BYOT, and all that would be, of course, is just a vehicle. But it does itself, what that does and what other technologies do is open doors to new possibilities. You know, with more portable or mobile kinds of technologies, we've seen changes in the way, like film, and you're specifically asked about film. Film is done, whereas in the past, you know, film was reliant more on elaborate staging and sets.
Right.
Well, that's not so much the case anymore.
Right.
And so I think down the road, and we have some very, very talented fine arts teachers in this district. I think you all would agree with me on that.
Definitely.
And they're the kind of people who will be inspired to find ways to take advantage of the kind of medium. It's people like me, you know. Regretfully, I'm not much of an artist. I very much appreciate it. Hopefully you're getting a little bit of grasp of that. I can play a role in art by helping do the things that will make it possible so you can do art. But my job is to make sure that you have opportunity.
I want to take that class when we offer that.
Yeah, I might too.
I don't know that I could join the drill team that Aloria's on, but regardless, she's got a great question for us. Aloria?
Well, I think this question not only applies to Jill team, but to any performance group in the fine arts. But every year at the end of the spring semester, we have a spring show. And at our spring show, it is sold out every year, even though we do have 3 performances. People are turned away each night due to limited seating. Is it possible that we could use the Medical City Theater in Louisville or some larger venue since we don't have a district event center? And I know that was something that was previously discussed and maybe voted on for having a event center, but is there a possibility that we could be using the Medical City Theater?
Well, isn't it a nice problem to have?
It is.
You know, wouldn't you rather, I mean, I think any performing group would hate to see an empty hall. You'd like, no matter how large the theater, I suppose, to see that you don't want people turned away, of course, but that the hall is full. I'll say it again, I think we have the best fine arts programs in Texas. And if you're saying that, I believe that it also means we have the best fine arts programs in the United States, because I think Texas has the best fine arts programs in the country. We wouldn't have that if it wasn't for the support of our community. And we should all be grateful for it. And so the people that show up for your performances, it's not just your moms and dads. They're there, and that's a great thing. But there's other people who want to come as well, because they go, you know what, we're going to be entertained when we go there. It's going to be high quality stuff, and they want to come. You know, when it's ours, you can just use it. It's free. When it's somebody else's, it's not always free. I'm certain the city of Louisville would be excited to hold a group that if they wanted to, and I know they're supportive of our young artists, but it's their hall. I don't know what arrangements they would want to provide for that, but anything's possible, and that's just a matter of seeing what it takes to do it. Certainly, we'll keep in mind the suggestion about looking at venues, and if that's a possibility, then we certainly would pursue it.
We have a very interesting question for our final topic this afternoon. Talisen, why don't you share your question with us?
If you could have one piece of famous art, what would it be?
It's almost unfair, isn't it? I mean,
just one?
Just you think of all the art that's been produced and that we still have, and and you have to choose one. I started thinking about it. I go, wow, because I love art, and I'm not an art historian. I'm very fortunate that when I was a little boy, my parents took me to art museums. And we lived in the country, but when we went to visit my grandparents, they lived near San Francisco. And we went to the Museum of Art in San Francisco. I was amazed by those paintings in there. And I'm grateful for that early introduction. And I've continued to love art ever since. And I love all kinds of art and the different periods. But I have an answer for you. If I had to have one piece of art, I would choose Sandro Botticelli's The Primavera.
And why would you choose that? Is there any personal connection?
It moves me emotionally. It's a beautiful piece of art. I've seen it. It's in the Uffizi Gallery in Florence. I think the element of it's about the spring, the oncoming of spring. There's an element of hope, joy of living, of mankind, and then just the the genius in the painting itself, the unbelievable use of color. You can hardly take in the whole canvas when you look at it. It's just a joyous piece, and you just feel excited to see it. So there's many things to choose from, but I would say that's what I would take.
Well, we've had some fabulous questions today. Thank you for asking them.
This was an extremely challenging and a very fun little session, interview.
Yeah.
A lot of good energy in this room. I feel it.
Well, thank you all
Great.
for asking your great questions. Thank you for answering them, and thank you for joining us. And we will see you next month.